I'm Derek Joyce and I'm here with Paul O'Murda, and this is I'm Not the Expert, but this is a podcast where we discuss everything from the most complicated things that we know nothing about to the simplest things that we also know nothing about. So sit back, grab a cup of tea and join us. In part 1, we finished up on the Cannonball Slide, which is gruesome in a whole new definition. Now we're on the wave pool.
Yeah.
Or as the employees called it, the grave pool.
Oh Lord.
They called it the fucking grave pool.
Jesus.
It's not fucking insane.
They can be dangerous. They
can,
so
but
mundane,
employees of a water park don't necessarily call a ride a grave anything.
I know.
But this was the fucking grave pool. Right, so they called it the grave pool. As to why they called it a grave pool will become apparent in a couple of minutes. But spoiler alert, people did die on this. So I'm not poking fun at that. Okay?
No,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay. The wave pool was 100 feet across by 200 feet long. Okay? It generated waves up to 2 meters high.
So hang on, this is in America, yeah?
Yeah.
So how many football pitches is that?
I'm not even going there. It generated waves up to 2 meters high.
Wow.
Considering that the deepest part of this pool was 6 feet deep.
Okay.
So that's
almost double.
3 meters.
Yeah.
At its highest point, it would have been 3 meters.
Aye.
Right. So
you're in 3 meters of water.
Yeah.
Not ideal for the little toddlers.
You'd imagine it'd be the same as any other wave pool and any other theme park.
They're usually kind of not ankle depth.
Out of there. No, but they're you can go deep, and when the wave does generate, it's going to be over your head. So it's proficient swimmers would only be there.
Yeah.
And the wave pool in Action Park was policed by lifeguards who numbered in no less than 12.
Okay.
No less than 12 lifeguards were on duty at all time.
Okay, well that's fair enough then. I mean, that's showing some consciousness of safety anyway. More than can be said for the other rides.
Okay, I don't think it's as haphazard as there was no safety whatsoever, but there were very slack safety rules in all of the park.
Yeah.
And part of the attraction for people coming up from New Jersey, which was where they mostly came from, was the fact that
there was an element of danger.
There's an element of danger, and you control how great that danger is to a certain extent.
Right.
Rather than somebody saying, hey, back the fuck up, get out of there, all that kind of thing, which I'm sure would have been a right decision to make at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So they didn't. The problem with 12 lifeguards being on duty at all times was
complacency.
Still, there were a couple of thousand people in the pool.
Aye.
Or even, I think it was 1,000. Maybe I'm just exaggerating.
That's
a lot of people in a 100 across, area, 200 foot long, that kind of thing.
That is.
So, and you were saying, so how many football fields is that? If it's 200 feet long.
It's one.
It's two.
It's 2 football fields,
Yeah, so it was massive. And for 12 lifeguards.
Oh, hang on. No, you're saying feet. Football pitch is 100 yards long. So it's not even
which
as long
is 2.2 feet. So it is one football field long.
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
3 feet in the yard, isn't there?
No, 2.2. Yeah. Well, I thought there was. But anyway, we're not getting into that.
We're open to it.
Yeah.
It's a small enough area for 1,000 fucking people.
Yeah.
No, what way you put it?
Add to the deepest part being 6 feet and wave and fucking waves of 2 meters, I think it was. Actually, no, waves of 1 meter. Excuse me, that's a mistake. Because if it's 6 feet, that's nearly 2 meters. 3.3 feet to The water was often murky from sunscreen from people being in the water.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's understandable. But also from blood, from injuries, and also from human effluent.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, if you get into... The thing was, you get into danger, the first thing to fucking evacuate is not you out of that zone, it's your bowels, So I'm not saying they all shit themselves, but sometimes you wet yourself out of fear, and that's a natural human reflex. But the thing was, when water got to above your shoulder, there's a natural instinct to not panic, but it's the flight or fight thing. you know?
Yeah, of course.
And people, obviously, in a large body of water are going to fucking fly rather than fight.
Yeah.
People clambered for the ladders out of the pool or to get to shallower spots. And when they clambered over other people.
Yeah.
And anybody who panicked, who didn't clamber and try to escape the area, but panicked, as people often do in water that's over their confidence level, say, took the person next to them with them.
Yeah.
Because that's what
grabbing,
inverted commas drowning victims do. And I'm not saying they were all drowning victims, but that's what happens in water.
Yeah.
Okay?
You just panic and grab hold of something. Yeah.
Yeah. You grab hold of something, you take them with you. That's why there's a whole rule about saving somebody who's drowning.
Yeah.
You know, and the caution.
Ride them on their back and
care and all that kind of thing. Yeah. You'd have murky water from sunscreen, from blood, from human effluents or whatever it was. And it was harder to spot people. Every few minutes after the wave pool was used, it would have to be stopped so that the attendants, the lifeguards, could look and see that they miss anybody. So was there somebody on the bottom or something like that?
Christ.
I have no comment to make because that's fucking disgraceful. That's fucking scary. But you know,
how are they not shut down though?
The same as in part one. Okay. You're thinking about it from a frame of mind now.
I know.
A present frame of mind. But past was much more slack.
I know it was much more slack, but surely there was some kind of fucking regulation.
There was, but it was either a very loose regulation or it was poorly enforced. You know, I mean, it's not like they got away with murder or bank robbery or something like that. But there was danger. There was an element of danger. A fun fact, the lifeguards often referred to the point in the pool where the water is above a punter's shoulders as the death zone. DEATH zone, the death zone. Isn't that fucking nuts?
And how many people died there?
We're getting there.
Oh, just in the wave pool alone, like.
If memory serves correctly, 2.
Which
is a lot, you know.
It is a lot.
One is a lot.
It'd be higher considering they're called.
Well, there were 6 in the whole park.
The death zone, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, there's these. You've got this frame of mind among employees who numbered in their teens. And as we said in part 1, that's the teenage responsibility is what's brought to any situation.
Oh, it is, yeah. Of course.
In 1982, 15-year-old George Lopez drowned in the wave pool. I guess he was one that wasn't spotted. You know, he was one of the ones that was found after the wave pool had been stopped. But he drowned in the wave pool. 5 years later, a bloke named Greg Grandchamps died there as well. And he, when I say a bloke, he was a man. He was an adult. I'm not sure how. I think he was in his 20s. Maybe he was older, but he was considered an adult. So, I mean, it wasn't just your skinny little mid-teen. It was kind of everybody was at risk.
Yeah.
And tragic. But it stayed open. It wasn't unusual for lifeguards to rescue up to 30 people in any given weekend in the wave pool alone. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. No, it is. Like, I mean, we were having fun with the first episode and, you know what I mean, having a bit of a laugh about teeth embedded in slides and whatnot. But Jesus Christ, man, this is not just negligent. This is fucking...
It was all negligent.
It was all negligent, but this is fucking, you know...
And in part 1, I said there was a ride that the punters didn't see the light of day off because it was just so fucking inherently dangerous from get-go. Let's try this out. From that point onward, it was like, fuck this shit. I will get to that in this. Yeah. That's fucking insane.
So they did have a limit to how many people they were willing to fucking sacrifice.
Which shows you how dangerous the fucking thing was.
Yeah.
You know? It's fucking...
No, but I'm saying they did have a limit. Like,
well, you'd kind of have to.
How many people they were willing to kill in the name of profit, you know?
Well, that was the whole thing. It was profit over personal safety.
It's just nuts.
Yeah. As of 2020, the wave pool was still in operation, though the water level is greatly reduced.
Sorry,
and
2020?
Yeah. Didn't I tell you in part 1 that...
Yeah, it's still a park. It's got a new name, new owners and all, though.
Yeah.
It's still got the same fucking rides and stuff.
No. Lots of the danger ones are taken out.
Right. Yeah, no.
And lots of the ones, obviously, I mean, the Cannonball one was taken apart when it was
at the time,
fucking Action Park.
Yeah.
So there's lots of them there, but it's under new management. It's under new safety. And you're working under
today's regulations.
21st century regulations.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's as of 2020, still in operation. Water level and probably wave frequency and wave strength and all that kind of thing is greatly diminished. Yeah. Jesus. A few days after 15-year-old George Lopez died from drowning in the wave pool, 27-year-old Jeffrey Nathan was killed on the kayak experience.
Okay.
The kayak experience was a 1,000-foot whitewater ride where the punter sat in a kayak and went down what was the man-made equivalent of a natural whitewater ride. Yeah.
Whitewater rapids, yeah.
It
what
wasn't.
Speed were they getting up to?
Well, you know, it's just unless the water is pumped at a great rate, which I'm sure they didn't. Whitewater just goes at the speed that gravity and nature takes it. You know what I mean? The narrow channel, the whatever in a natural environment. So they would have simulated that in this thing because it's not cost effective to have a broad whitewater thing.
Yeah,
that's the broad part is where you come out and things calm down and the punter goes, fuck that. Oh, here we go again. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it narrows up. So that's what they were working on. So it was a whitewater experience 1,000 feet long. It was a common event for the punter to get flipped out of the kayak, which is a common event in nature, I guess. But yeah. Reportedly, Jeffrey Nathan got flipped out of his kayak and while trying to get in, stood on a grill where there was an exposed wire and got electrocuted. Went into cardiac arrest and died soon after.
Jesus.
Yes, not nuts.
No, so that's not even a natural fucking death. That's directly down to just poor maintenance and fucking
negligence.
Absolute negligence.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. Like, you couldn't put that down to misadventure, you know?
Yeah, fucking, I don't know. I mean, I do know I completely agree with you, but what do you fucking say?
And how do they not pay him fucking compensation even? That's fucking nuts.
Well, when I said he never lost a court case, he did pay compensations. He settled with people.
He settled out of court. Oh, right.
You know, but anybody he brought to court, like the idea of bringing them to court was litigate the shit out of them, as we said in part one. But he did. There were settlements that his team of fucking amazingly expensive lawyers would have said, you're not winning this shit. You know? Fuck that. Yeah.
Okay.
So he did settle. So I'm sure he settled on this one because I can't even envisage an argument that would defend, that makes this defensible.
No, exactly.
The ride was closed permanently.
Okay, well, at least they didn't just shut it down for the afternoon. That's what you're going to say.
Although the park wouldn't take responsibility for the death.
Jesus. How was it not
because the ride was closed and punters would have said, why is that fucking closed? They put out a public statement claiming that punters, the greater majority of punters, were just too intimidated by the ride. So that made it not cost effective and they closed it, which is fucking stupid.
So they closed it because nobody wanted to go on it after somebody died. Basically is what they're saying.
Yeah, that's not.
So was that their actual motivation for closing it? One wonders. It was just that nobody was going on it anymore, so they closed the fucking thing.
Well, no, I mean, people going to the park knew what the fucking risks were. I mean, that was why people were going to the park.
I know, once someone dies, that's upping the ante a little bit more.
It does, but isn't that open the ante to thrill seekers?
I don't know.
Rolling the dice, that kind of shit?
There's a difference between, you might get hurt on this and you might die, you know?
Well, I'm not defending it and I'm not defending Action Park, but for him that died, there were hundreds didn't.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. No,
it was so fucking negligent and wrong place at the wrong time, and he came out of the boat at the wrong place and done this thing, which 100 other people could have done. But
a lot of things needed to go wrong.
They didn't claim responsibility. That's the fucking underlying point.
Yeah.
That's we didn't close this because it was a death. It's because you're all too intimidated.
You were too scared to go on it.
It's not us, it's you. It's fucking bullshit. Another ride, And I think there are words in the English lexicon that are tarnished forever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like fucking Cromwell and fucking all that kind of thing. And I'm going off on something here and infamous names throughout history.
Yeah,
and
Hitler, Cromwell.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Cannonball is another word that's consigned to fucking oblivion and infamy from Cannonball, right? The Cannonball Loop. So
well, the Cannonball Loop.
Yeah. The Cannonball Falls was another ride.
Jesus, they like the cannonballs, didn't they?
Yeah, like the whole
speed,
destructive
ejection from a barrel.
So Cannonball Falls was when riders ended their slide by being shot out of a closed tube. I saw there's a still on you'll get on Google. Shot out of a closed tube, and it was a 10-foot fall. 10 foot, you know, what's that, the height of the ceiling?
Still very
Yeah, but it is when you're coming out uncontrolled from a water slide, 10-foot fall into a 17-foot deep mountain pool. And because it was a mountain pool and this was a ski lodge in winter, it was fucking cold water. Right?
Any heart attacks?
People were constantly pulled out of the plunge pool because either they came out of the slide incorrectly, which you would attribute to losing control of, or arsing about, and you go into a little spin and you're all over the place. Whoa, this is like crack. Yeah. But because of that, they would come out incorrectly, or they were unable to swim because of the cold shock of the plunge pool.
Yeah.
So they were constantly being pulled out. Or C, they just couldn't swim in the fucking first place, but they decided to go on and off because this is the water theme park, which you get a lot of.
Yep.
I do remember reading about a guy who came out of the cannonball thing, the cannonball run, we'll call it, so badly that he got injured so badly from landing, he ended up getting shoulder surgery. Jesus. Yeah, but no one died in this to my... I will confirm that later on.
Just bearing in mind, Dan, it's just dawned on me now. My son is in Emerald Park today.
Yeah, there you go.
We're talking about this.
He's going to have fun. Well, hopefully he does have fun.
I'm sure that's well looked after and well maintained, I hope.
The aqua scoot, which I mentioned in part one at the beginning when I was saying what the slides were, and the Alpine Slide and all the kind of... And the Alpine Slide, I'll get to that probably towards the end. That was one of the first ones that they introduced into the park. The aqua scoot was 3 steep slides. So... You know the way we were saying that the Cannonball Loop was 30 degrees, and I looked at it again, and I actually think it's more...
It looks more like 45
degrees.
I was looking at it
but this was even more steep. You know the way you've got your steep slide?
Yeah.
And that's that's keep your fucking legs and your arms crossed.
Inside the slide,
Not inside slide, crossed.
Keep them crossed, yes.
Yeah. That was 3 steep slides that had rollers on them.
Right.
Like a factory production line. You know that thing? Yeah. That's really freewheeling, and it's actually the crack. You can just slide stuff 100 yards with slides pushed. So it was that. And what you do is you slide down, you sit in a plastic tray and tear down this fucking skid. Right. This production line of rollers. Yeah. Shoot down the fucking thing. And slide out across a pool at the end.
And you're skimming like a stone.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now,
I've seen those, and I've seen those done properly and safely. Like, you know what I mean? I know exactly what you're talking about.
These weren't done safely.
No, exactly. Yeah. This is Action Park we're talking about.
More often than not, riders would sit too far forward on their tray, and when they came out of the chute, the tray would bite into the pool at the end, the splash pool, and would face plant them. So they get face planted into the water, and it's not excessive speeds necessarily.
No, but that hurts.
Hitting the water. Have you ever belly flopped?
I have. I can't dive at all.
Yeah, but so I mean, you do get slapped. Those hurt.
Yeah,
and it's like hitting a brick wall when you're taking on any speed faster than the speed you generate by trying to dive.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'd face plant, and you'd have fucking
bruised ribs, broken bones,
bloody noses, broken noses, fucking broken teeth or whatever it was.
Jesus.
Black eyes because you're headbutting in the fucking water. Okay? They'd land more head first than anything else. There were many, many injuries and dental traumas from this fucking ride.
That's nuts.
If an injured rider lingered in the pool too long, because they were hurt.
Yeah.
Or they were dazed or
There'd be a
confused or whatever
pile-up.
the fuck. They could pile up. They run the risk of getting hit by the next patron down because the employee at the top is like, go,
Yeah, so they know radios or anything.
Well, they do
hold
the
it up.
equivalent of doom scroll, whatever you did in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know? So just go, and they just fucking launch down. Or they could also be attacked by the bees that had their beehive close by to the splash pool.
Ah, for fuck's sake. Oh, deadly. So no pest control either on operation.
You're in a fucking ski resort in the summertime. You know, it's the wilderness, man.
I know, but I'm assuming you're inside a perimeter, park. So it wasn't just open.
Okay, you assume what you like.
No, but I'm saying, like,
I understand what you're saying.
They're responsible for everything that goes on inside the perimeter, including the fucking beehive that should have been removed.
I don't think it's a responsible thing to assume any safety precaution of any kind.
These guys just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, you wonder how other parks operate though, what corners are being cut, even in, in heavily regulated now, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know in particular what parks they were, but because I looked all this up, and your algorithm has a look at what you're doing, it starts to feed you more of the material you were looking at.
Oh yeah.
Right. So there's lots. If you're having a kind of a day where you want to go and look at this shit, there's lots and lots of tragedies and accidents that happen at theme parks.
Yeah.
And more often than not, in the ones I was looking at, it was profit was considered more than personal safety.
Okay, so it's not unique to Action Park.
No.
Yeah.
Action Park was just infamous.
Yeah.
Because
I know there have been a couple in fairly high profile European parks and stuff where there was deaths, but it was mostly due to kind of freak weather and stuff that wasn't expected and stuff.
There's some in the States, and in the algorithm must favour stuff from America because that's all I was seeing.
Right, okay.
But from all the big theme parks, there were accidents. There have been accidents.
Jesus.
So, yeah, it's all nuts. I don't have any information on them, so I'm not being vague.
And we don't want to be litigated.
Well, I didn't look up which ones in particular, so I'm saying they are there, but I don't know who they were. And if you're interested in finding out who they are, go and look at YouTube or something like that.
But
I'm sure there's
tons
of them there.
Though.
Yeah. But Action Park was
the creme de la creme
fucking insane.
Of dodgy theme parks.
Insane. Yeah. Roaring Rapids was Action Park's answer to a lazy river.
Right.
Roaring Rapids. A lazy river, you're like, what's the fucking harm they can
down
do?
On a rubber ring,
in warm water, on a rubber
out.
Ring, chilling out, and maybe tipping your friend out of his rubber ring or her rubber ring. And look at you and you.
There might be a little faster section.
Yeah.
But it's nothing mad.
Nothing mad.
Like, what were they doing?
Patrons sat in a big rubber ring, which everybody's familiar with, and went through bends, rapids, and short slides. Now, the way it was built.
I was going to say it's a figure of 8 with them all meeting.
No, not that it's a figure of 8. How could it be a fucking figure of 8? It has to be on a... Yeah, I understand, but that doesn't make sense. Anyway, it was a slalom.
It has to be on a slope.
It's a slalom thing. It was on a slope. Not being engineered to the highest spec. It would obviously... You know the way you might see a bit of detritus or something floating on water and it gets stuck in a corner because the flow is just... not getting in there, the kind of that happened.
Yeah, there's a torrent or whatever.
Yeah. So I watched a documentary, and that happened to a few people, and they'd get stuck in this little thing where the rubber ring might be spinning, and you're going, "What the fuck? I can't get out." And even when somebody passes by and they're caught in the flow, you watch them drift by, and they're going, "What the fuck, man?"
What happened,
right? The answer was to increase the water flow.
Right.
Which is not necessarily the answer, the correct answer.
It's the answer they used.
But it was increased water flow and probably increased the patronage. Send more people down. Clear the blockage, send more down, send more down. They fucking did that in The Simpsons. Homer gets stuck in an enclosed tube and they're like, we've got a blockage in sector something. He goes, send more people down, send more people down. There's loads of kids just
it'll eventually pop
screaming towards Homer Simpson stuck in a fucking pipe. It's hilarious. It's great. But yeah, so patrons sat in a big rubber ring and went down and sometimes they stuck rapids and short slides and all that kind of crack. There were tunnels and they're the tunnels that you think, no, they're enclosed, they're unlit. You go down into a dark tunnel, you come out the other end, and what would Action Park be without fucking waterslide tunnels? It'd be not
Safer.
Yeah, safer. Yeah, good answer. In a 1984 filing to the state of New Jersey, so they would have to file to, it wasn't just an unlicensed place that they were doing.
They were licensed.
It was, it's just very loosely controlled and all that kind of thing. In the 1984 filing to the state of New Jersey, the park noted a slew of injuries associated with the ride. So people were still getting injured on this fucking what was it?
No, the
White Rapids thing?
Lazy River.
But it wasn't Lazy River. It was Actions Park, answer to a Lazy River.
Yeah, so it was...
Roaring Rapids.
Yeah,
so the fucking name is in the title.
Yeah, so it was ramped up, yeah.
Yeah. Fractured femurs, collarbones, noses, broken elbows, dislocated shoulders, and dislocated knees were all part of it.
So they were lashing them down this river at fucking breakneck speed, basically.
I'm not a medic and I'm not an engineer, but I can't think of where somebody would get that badly injured sitting in a fucking rubber ring. Whether it's roaring rapids, they must have been fucking roaring rapids.
Only 100 mile an hour, like.
Well, I doubt it was 100 mile an hour.
You know what I mean, though.
And exceedingly fast, but I don't fucking know, man. I have no fucking answer. Jesus
find a YouTube
Christ.
video.
I'm sure there is, and I'm not sure I want to see it.
No.
You know, I've watched documentaries on this, which was what gave me the idea for doing this. There's one that HBO did, and if I remember the name correctly, it was called Class Action Park.
Okay.
Yeah. So that gives you everything you want.
I gotta go watch that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I'm sure it's on YouTube. People used to call it like Traction Park.
I think there's your episode title now.
Yeah, fucking unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, Traction Park, love it.
It was mentioned that there was a death on this ride too.
Right.
But the 1984 fatality that seems to be referred to that happened on this was a fatal heart attack, and it was brought on by the cold shock of the plunge pool beneath the Tarzan swing. So it wasn't necessarily.
That's kind of what I was getting at earlier with the slide thing. Like you can go into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, well, okay, they're different things. The Cannonball.
Yeah.
What was the fucking thing I said? I just keep calling Cannonball Loop because that's the one that's fucking burned into me.
Cannonball Falls.
Cannonball Falls.
Yeah.
Was a ride, but the Tarzan swing was also a ride.
Yeah.
They were
different
different
that
things.
cold water. That's the
the mountain pool.
That is the key.
Yeah.
It's an outdoor natural pool, isn't it?
Preface everything I've spoken about in this episode and the first part with the fact that there were multiple kiosks throughout Action Park that sold beer. Yes. So in Motor World, where you could drive your Formula 3000 styles.
Yeah, fucking go-kart that had been modified with a tennis ball to make it go faster.
Have a couple of fucking beers.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything was, you could have
no
beers.
No DUIs in Action Park, huh?
Yep. Fucking, so you could, and you can go, but that's American beer and that's fucking weaker now. It's fucking beer. And if you're not used to drinking beer, especially when you're at a fucking theme park, then, and it wasn't controlled. It was have a beer, have a beer, have a beer, have a beer. And if there's 12 kiosks, say for instance, throughout Action Park, and you go to each one of them, you get 12 beers.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a lot of beers.
So, fuck that.
That's a lot of beers. Right, whose currency are you using? So it's basically the fucking 10-cent beer night of fucking theme parks.
The results might differ a little, but basically. Yeah. The principal concept of going getting a beer, that was it, except it wasn't as cheap as 10-cent beer now. But there you go.
I can't even get my head around the notion of having beer at a theme park. It's just insane.
I've been at loads
Disney don't sell beer, do they?
I don't know. I've been at loads of them.
I've
been at loads of them. Disney's and Warner Brothers theme parks and all these kinds of fucking things. And nobody has ever tried to sell me a beer. And I've never looked at a menu that had beer on sale. Yeah. I'm sure I just didn't look there because it wouldn't occur to me or I wouldn't be interested in going and having a beer when I'm at a theme park.
No, exactly.
But even the act of having a fucking beer when you're out in the sun in
and when
your
you're kind of responsible
shorts.
for your own fucking safety.
Well, that's the thing. That was the attraction of Action Park.
Yeah, was that
you're responsible for your own safety. Yeah.
So let's get drunk.
Yeah. So let's have a few beers and just lower the inhibitions and fuck all that shit. Yeah.
Jesus
okay.
Christ.
The Alpine Slide. Right out the gate. 14 fractures, 26 head injuries, and 1 death that I know of. I could be wrong about the one death, but I'll get back to that. It was the one I mentioned at the beginning, and I said I would circle back to. So let's have a look at it.
Right.
The Alpine Slide was Action Park's first ride. It was around the time that Mulvihill would have said, we need to fucking do something about this ski resort in the summer months.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because we're closed all summer, let's try and make some money,
Yeah. It was a 2,700 foot long, twisting open air ride downhill in the Alpine ski thing. You know that you go down on a little fucking tray thing with wheels, and you've got a brake.
Right.
You know, you control yourself coming into corners and shit like that. You know those rides. You see them all over the place. It was that.
Okay.
On a lot of the toboggans, if that's what you want to call them, the brakes didn't work.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
It was a one-man sled that you'd sit on.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And sometimes the brakes didn't
laugh
work.
with the brakes not working. Jesus Christ.
You're not laughing if you're the one that gets the fucking sled without the brake working.
That's what I'm kind of laughing.
Yeah.
Just imagine the realization when you're hitting the first corner and realize the fucking brakes not working.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be the first thing you fucking check.
I know.
You know? I mean, even if you're given a...
It'd be the first thing you check if you're sober now.
Well, not even you as a punter, but if you're an employee and you're told to do this, as you're given a sled to a punter, you check the brake.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah, teenagers.
Yeah. Well, you can't blame teenagers, and I'm not going to blame them at any stage in this.
Okay.
The track was also made of concrete. George Larson Jr. was one of the unfortunate people to lose their lives in Action Park, and he was the first fatality. George, this is fucking disgusting. Not physically disgusting, like it's not gross and gory and all that kind of thing. But George was a former ski lift employee at the ski resort, obviously in the winter.
Right.
Okay. On the 8th of July, 1980, 19-year-old George rode the Alpine Slide. The sled had a faulty brake in that it didn't work, and due to the speed, he had no control over his sled and he left the track.
Right.
He fell 25 feet down an embankment and hit his head off a rock. Injured and unresponsive, they called medics. Because, I mean, like, fucking, I don't have this in any of my research, but I did read it. Action Park bought ambulances for New Jersey. A lot of theme parks do that because, you know, there's going to be accidents at theme parks. It's unavoidable. Right. But Action Park bought a fleet of ambulances for the hospitals in and around New Jersey. And people complained that Action Park was taking up all the fucking ambulances, which is, I think, why they got them. But so he was unresponsive and they called the medics and the EMTs came out and they took him off the hospital. He slipped into a coma and he died 6 days later. Okay? This is the disgusting part.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
Yeah. Action Park's public relations director, Wesley Smith, said, and I quote, "The ride didn't injure Larson. It was a rock 25 feet away that hurt him. And the same thing could happen to anybody falling off a bicycle."
Fuck off. Just fuck off. Seriously, like.
Action Park blamed Larson for his own death.
Jesus.
They also claimed, and this is another fucking disgusting bit, they also claimed Larson was an employee of the park, being a former ski lift operator. And even if he was going to go back, had this accident not happened, in the next winter season. This happened in July. Yeah, so he's not an employee in the off season. Right? Yeah. You know, you're put out to furlough or you're fucking will rehire you or whatever the fuck it is.
And he was there as a paying customer.
But yeah. Action Park claimed that he was an employee of the ski resort. And because he was an employee of the ski resort, they didn't have to report his debt to the state. His family refuted that he was an employee. They didn't refute that he had been an employee, but that he was. But they used the fact that he was, and even if he was in the winters, he wasn't in the summer. Yeah. That he was, and so they didn't have to report to the state. I'm not sure what law that comes in under, but that's fucking disgraceful.
It's public liability, I suppose, isn't it?
The rock he hit his head off had been reported as a hazard on an inspection and ordered to be removed, but it never was. Isn't that fucking...
Yeah.
Fuck you, Action Park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The one that never saw the light of day.
Yeah, okay, what is it?
Okay, the man in the ball.
Must have been really fucking bad if they weren't going to fucking...
You can make your own decision. I'm not telling you what to think or what to believe, but yeah,
Right,
you'll
go
probably
on.
agree with me. The man in the ball.
The man in the ball.
The man in the ball.
Right.
This was a giant ball, big metal ball, covered in casters. Like, obviously, metal.
Oh, I know
big
what you mean. Yeah,
metal
like
ball.
a kind
It's
of a
like
grill.
a bathysphere, the thing they go down and put. It's close. It's a ball.
Right.
And it's got casters all over it. You know the little wheels on the bottom of your settee or something like that on some settees that don't have, I'm not describing it for you, that don't have a direction. They just go anywhere they fucking like.
Omnidirectional.
Yeah. It was covered in those, right? And it was sent down a PVC track down the hill. Okay, that was the idea. You put somebody inside, you roll it down the hill. Thrill seekers will love it and it'll be fucking insane. You get out, probably covered in puke and bruise, blood, shit like that. But well, fuck, man, do that and that kind of thing, and gnarly and all that kind of
awesome,
thing.
dude.
So, dangling the $100 carrot, Mulvihill got one of his employees, Frank, we'll call him Frank, I think his name was Frank, to step up and do it. So Frank climbed in and they set the ball off down the track with all the casters. The track was PVC, and because it's the height of summer,
it's melting.
The PVC expands under the heat. Because when I think of PVC, I think of black.
Yeah.
And that's heat absorbing. And the glue melts. So the PVC is no longer one solid track anymore. It's now an expanded, buckled, fucking shit all over the place. No glue or whatsoever. Okay. The occupied metal ball left the track and hurtled down a 600-foot mountain, crossed the freeway, and landed in a swamp.
Fuck me. Didn't get hit by a car, look.
Frank survived. Jeez. Yeah. And probably more battered and bruised than he'd be at any other time in his life.
And I'd say his trousers were brown.
Well, he can spend his $100 on a new pair.
Yeah, definitely.
All of them went, no fucking way. They retrieved Frank, but the metal ball was left in the swamp and it was there decades later. It was like, fuck that shit, shut that fucking stuff down, no way. And that's the one that never saw the light of day. But even the concept of
put a metal ball full of wheels and fuck them down a hill. Like.
We've got, I've seen, and I haven't been on one, and I'd love to be, the inflatable rubber
I love those.
Thing.
Yeah.
But not even football ones, but I've seen on those Japanese challenge shows or whatever the fuck.
This is what fucking action bags reminded me of.
Yeah. But it's a lot safer and a lot that you're not as likely to, and if you do get sick, it's gonna go all over you, but that's the risk you take, blah blah blah, all that kind of shit. But fucking metal ball, casters, PVC track, height of summer.
It's like something me and my cousin
600
would have as kids. Like
600 foot down a fucking mountain, uncontrolled, across a freeway, that he didn't get hit by anything, and into a swamp where he didn't drown.
Yeah, it's literally something a child would come up with.
Fucking hell.
Like, it really is.
It's mad.
Like, me and my cousin back in the day used to make mad go-karts out of like corrugated iron and prams and shit. Like, and he lived on a really steep hill. Now, it's a fucking country road, like he lived in Meath. It was a really steep hill. We just fucking hurtled down the thing, you know what I mean?
We did all that. And we did the swings.
Yeah.
But
we didn't open a park and start charging fucking people.
To maim themselves.
Yeah, because that just sounds like something me and Robbie would have come up with.
Fucking
a metal ball full of wheels. Yeah, let's go down the fucking road and that. Yeah. Excellent.
Isn't that nuts? But fucking the level of fucking insanity or the lack of
awareness of
the risk involved to say, let's do this. Yeah. And he must have been surrounded, Mulvihill now. He must have been surrounded by a bunch of fucking sycophants who wouldn't say no.
Yes, man,
yeah. All yes, man. Yep, great idea, boss. Great idea, boss. Yeah. Great idea, boss. No, I won't be giving you my son to test it out. No, $100 is not enough. Not that kind of shit. Yeah, fucking hell.
It's a great idea, but I'm not going on it.
Yeah, in part one, I said Mulvihill wasn't insured. Didn't have insurance for the park.
That's what you did say.
Mulvihill was insured.
Oh, he was, but the park wasn't.
He was insured by a company called London and World Assurance Limited.
Right. Sounds like a made-up name.
It was a phony firm created by him for self-insurance.
So he insured himself?
Yeah, which I'm not sure you can do.
Not sure that's legal.
No.
Certainly not ethical anyway.
Might have been a loophole, but
Yeah.
they've, I'm sure, closed it since because it's the only thing I've ever heard of. In 1984, he entered a plea agreement and got a suspended sentence.
Okay. So it was illegal then. It was illegal to do it.
It would have been like, and I'm sure it wouldn't have been fucking Gene Mulvihill, London and World Assurance Limited. I'm sure it would have been a shadow thing.
A shell company, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think there were loads of accusations of fraud as well.
I'm not surprised. Like this guy's a fucking chancer.
Well, we fucking knew that when we learned that he was selling shite stock to
that's
people
true,
for
actually,
exorbitant
fees. As
fees.
we said in the first episode, yeah.
So, he's fucking absolute
charlatan.
wanker. Yeah. Action Park closed in 1996. It is opened up under different names, and as we were saying earlier on, it's
new
still
ownership,
open.
and it's okay to go and visit it now.
It's safer, yeah. You don't have to sign away your life. And Gene Mulvihill died in 2012, age 78. Don't know what he died of, but he died at home. He died at home, surrounded by his family. They haven't released what he died of, so I'm guessing it was a Parkinson's, fucking cancer or something like that.
It wasn't fucking embarrassment anyway.
This guy doesn't do embarrassment. No, fucking unreal.
So yeah, that's fucking nuts. Like I honestly thought this was going to be something like a fucking 10-cent beer night where we had a good laugh. It's fucking not. It's tragic and fucking hard.
There's loads of it. It's tragic.
Disgusting.
Some of it is just fucking lunacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The man in the ball. Fuck that. Jesus Christ.
I shouldn't laugh. The bit that got me was across the fucking freeway.
Across the freeway. 600 foot down a fucking
mountain. Could have
mountain.
caused a fucking pile up. Could have killed fucking...
Yep.
Not million.
Millions. Yeah, millions. It was a nuclear.
It was a nuclear sphere. Yeah. A Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
But no, it could have caused a fucking motorway pile up. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, Frank was okay. Nothing happened.
Crazy bastards.
Yeah.
Crazy
fucking nuts.
Bastards. Anyway, it's maybe you want to go and visit now. Just to watch people like fucking taking their lives in their hands. You wouldn't catch me going on any of them fucking rides.
No, it's fucking nuts.
I mean, I'm even when you go to fucking fun fair or carny or whatever, I'm still very fucking wary of them. Like I know
carnies.
99, yeah.
Small hands, smell like cabbage
water.
Yeah. Austin Paris. Yeah.
Home for the kids, that one. I'm still very wary even of those kind of roadside carnival fucking things because how well you fucking regulated are they, Like you very, very rarely hear of any accidents at them in fairness, But still, somewhere in the back of your mind when you're strapping into the roller coaster, you're like, is this legit? Like, is this thing safe? But that made me think twice now again. Part of the thrill though, isn't it?
I've never, no. It's part of the thrill if you're going to fucking Action Park. I've never been to a theme park and gone, this seems really fucking dangerous. Like it's never struck me that it was anything but safe.
Yeah.
I've been on roller coasters.
I've never been to a theme park. But I have. I've been to the one in Portaventura when it was Universal Studios.
Yeah, well, you better have been because you said that in part one.
Yeah. So that was pretty high end. And I was in Canobie Lake in America, actually, which I suppose is technically a theme park. I've never been to one of that, of the big ones, if fucking Disney or a proper Universal Studios. I wouldn't count Portaventura as Universal Studios.
Sorry, Portaventura.
Yeah, no, but even when I had the Universal Studios branding, there was very little of any movie stuff at all, And it was all off-brand. They had this the Templo del Fuego, which is the fucking Temple of Fire.
Which is, when you said it to me, I was like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, right. It was a Temple of Fire, and it was a guy dressed as Indiana Jones or whatever, but his name was never mentioned as Indiana Jones. Like, it wasn't Indiana Jones, but it was quite obvious.
Idaho Johnson.
And there was an underwater one as well that was based on fucking Sequest DSV.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't called fucking Sequest. Like, you know, the logo even looked like Sequest, but it was called something else.
Ocean Gate?
No, it was... can't remember. Ocean Gate? What the fuck's Ocean Gate?
Ocean Gate was the one that imploded.
Oh, right, yeah, with the fucking Logitech fucking joypad, yeah.
Sorry, Ocean Gate.
Yeah, sorry, fucking Logitech. We do use your microphones.
True.
There are other microphones available.
Yeah, no, and Logitech joypads, and I don't game, but are fucking deadly.
Yeah, they're handy enough. I have a couple of them.
They're just not great for fucking DSVs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as the guy from Logitech himself said, we're the one that, you know, that you buy when you don't want to spend 60 quid on a PlayStation one, you know, or budget. And we're certainly not meant for submarine fucking controls, you know.
Yeah.
But there you have it. Anyway, Jesus, how do we get onto that? But yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous for my son now. I'm sure Emerald Park is absolutely, completely safe and, you know, wonderful. But it's just, you know, when you hear something like this, you're like, I'm sure people thought Action Park was probably fucking safe too. You know.
Do you think?
They're probably thinking that looks really fucking dangerous, but I'm sure it's not.
I'm sure they didn't think I'm going to die here when I fucking do this. Yeah. But the thing was, you take your safety in your own hands. They knew they were going for adrenaline adventure.
Right.
No, I mean, it's fun for all the family. It's the marketing. They didn't go, come here and fucking at your own risk and you sign this fucking...
Yeah, this fucking...
sign your life away at the gate.
Disclaimer like that.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Okay.
It was fun for all the family. Come to Action Park and all that kind of crack. Like, I watched the ad dozens of times and I'll fucking see it in my sleep. It was horrible. And it's an 80s ad. Yeah. But it wasn't. This is where you come for your adrenaline kicks.
Yeah.
It was just run.
The word of mouth got around that it was.
Run badly. Yeah, it was run by teens.
Yeah.
I read something about the teens that worked there. There was a sex shack. Where you go and you fucking get your ride or whatever. Yeah. But
your ride.
Yeah, for want of a better fucking word, Yeah, but there was, and there's sun and skiing and alcohol
and
involved.
Drugs probably.
Let's not even say there were drugs. I don't know.
I'm sure there's any weed floating around.
There might have been. I don't know. I didn't read that.
It's the 70s.
Yeah, it's the 80s.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a wash with cocaine, folks.
Yeah, no, Paul's not speaking on my behalf.
No. Come on, he worked in the stock market in the 80s. Anyway, I want to go and visit it. I want to take a time machine back to the 80s and just go and watch people being absolutely fucking stupid.
I would have done some of the same shit had I been there in the 1980s. I'm sure I would have. I was only 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
So
I was 2 in 1980, so yeah.
But I'm sure had I been that age, I'd have done the same fucking thing.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, it's again, I'm not blaming the teens that work there.
No.
And I'm
you'll probably fucking receive no training.
Like, I saw a picture of 12 lifeguards, the way they pose, let's do publicity shot.
Yeah.
And they're fucking lifeguards. They're not skinny teens. They're fucking lifeguards.
And then when
so I'm sure they could swim.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
what they were being asked to do was impossible.
Was a really tough task.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's, as I said on a few occasions through this, I don't blame the teens that work there.
No.
I don't blame the punters.
No, there's only one man to blame for this.
The Action Park was a fucking dive.
Sounds like it.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't a dive in the sense that it's a theme park.
In many cases, the food fucking poisoning was there as well, because I wouldn't say their food regulations were very fucking good either.
I don't know. But there you go. Action Park.
Radio.
Everybody go back in time, stick it on your summer holiday list and fucking go there. Just stay away from Alpine Slide. Because Alpine Slide.
Cannonball Loop.
And Cannonball Loop.
And Cannonball Falls.
And Tarzan Falls. Tarzan Swing.
And the fucking Whitewater Rapids.
Yeah, the wasn't Whitewater Rapids. What was it called? See, that's what I mean. There's so many fucking don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. And don't go on the carts because they fucking override those limiters with a tennis ball.
I want to have a go at that.
There's one was you could go in a tank that shot tennis balls. Like you're caged in. Like it's a good concept. You've got this little tank that you
Why am I
can
getting
fire tennis
Gladiators
balls.
vibes from this? The ball.
There was one of those too, and
yeah.
I'll get to that in a second. There was a tank that you sit in. It's a little one-man tank, and it's got a grill on the front, so you don't get hit with tennis balls. And you've got targets, little tennis ball-sized square targets around your vehicle. And if they're hit, it deactivates your cannonball fire, your cannon.
For a couple of seconds.
For a few seconds. So you're sitting there, and I'm sure there's a whole thing about it. So, but if you don't do that, you can watch from the side, but you can also pay to fire cannonballs or cannonballs, tennis balls from a little gun on the side.
Cool.
You know, so there's these tennis ball firing guns straddling
They had something like that.
this thing, and it's all fenced off.
Yeah.
I mean, you can aim high and send the fucking thing miles,
but
it's all fenced off. But the thing was, so you could watch, you could fire from the outside, or you could participate in the tank and fire from that.
Cool.
If the tanks broke down, the employees had to come out to fix, and they became targets, and people would just fire at them. Yeah. So I mean, that's the fucking risk you run there. That seemed like the crack, like unless you worked there.
Yeah, there was something like that in Cannonball Loop when we went, but it was water cannons.
Yeah,
which was really cool.
Yeah,
So
there was a fucking gladiator, because this is what you said. There was a gladiator inspired run. So there's that thing that you see
running the gauntlet, like
the gauntlet thing on Gladiator, and you've got all these boys. There was that kind of thing. There was that kind of thing. But I'm sure they weren't
big
TV celebrity gladiators. No, they were big and muscly. I have no doubt about that.
Big
but they might have been drawn from the same pool that the employee teens from around the park were drawn from. And these people were probably hammered the fucking shit out of you while you tried to run the gauntlet. So they had one of them, and it was inspired by the 1980s Gladiator TV show thing. So yeah, they had 75 rides. And I've only whistle stopped on a couple of them. It was a massive, massive park, and it was a huge success. Might have say you've got fucking 10,000 punters, 100,000 punters over a weekend.
Yeah,
that's massive.
Oh yeah, it was
massive. And obviously people are going to get hurt, but the state of the fucking equipment and the state of the rides and the lack of safety in the concept of the rides is fucking nuts. So maybe there were loads of them. I
get it, and I get what he was trying to do in that kind of niche, that it's, it's an extreme park, as it's not for the faint-hearted, but you have to keep it within the fucking safety limits. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
That's But anyway.
Well, again, you're thinking about it
in modern terms. Yeah, no, absolutely.
In 21st century safety precautions.
Of course,
1980s, it wasn't. So he could do whatever the fuck he liked, which is basically what it seems like.
Yeah.
So fuck
that.
America. Fuck that. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I think we leave it there now.
Yep. I just want to say this.
Yeah.
The Alpine Slide thing we talked about that the lad hit his head on and lost his life. That went on to cause hundreds of injuries while the park was open, and they never shut that ride except for that day.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Okay.
And that's a horrible note to end on.
Yeah. But there you go.
See you all next time.
Action Park people. See you later.
Bye.